The next instrument we're going to talk about is the tambourine. Now the tambourine, again, is another hand percussion instrument, such as the triangle. Again, you want to hold the instrument up in a position so that way it is both visible to you, to the conductor, and also to the audience. Okay, now a concert tambourine, if you notice, it has the jingles, which gives it that sound. But if you notice, there's also a head on the tambourine. So this is much more of a concert tambourine versus one like this. This is really designed to go on a drum set or for a stand, but without the head, these are kind of more of like these kind of tambourines. You normally really don't want to use these for concert music, but in a pinch, if you have to, I guess you can use this, but preferably it would be great if you had a tambourine with an actual head on it. Now, when we hold the instrument, if you notice, there's jingles all the way around the instrument, except for this spot, okay? Now, when you're holding the instrument, you want to hold it right here. You want to place your fingers on the inside of the frame, and then you want to just basically put your thumb on the top of the head, okay? So you're holding the instrument like this, okay? You do not want to put your thumb, you'll have a bad time, you do not want to put your thumb through the hole. My fingers are big and fat, I can't put them through, but for young students, they have small, skinny fingers. You don't want to put your thumb in there and then get it caught and stuck, and you really can't play the instrument like that, because then that puts my fingers and my hand here. All right, so you want to just hold the instrument like this. Now, when you're holding the instrument, as I mentioned, you want to hold the instrument up. So the idea is that pretty much everything that you play, for the most part, you're able to see the instrument, where you're striking it, how you're playing it, and then you're also able to see the music and the conductor. Those are the three primary things that you want to see: instrument, music, conductor. Now, when I hold the tambourine, I'm not going to hold it flat. I'm going to hold it on kind of a 45-degree angle, okay? Now, when I'm playing, in general, you're going to play it on an angle, and I'm going to use my fingers and play with my fingers, okay? Now, when I have to play loud, okay, let's say I have one note at the end of a piece. What you'll do is you'll hold the instrument, and then I'll just place my fist, my hand in a fist, nice and relaxed, not like I'm going to punch somebody, but just closed, nice and relaxed. And then what you're going to do is you're going to strike the instrument just right in the middle. I'm not punching the instrument. Again, when you're playing percussion instruments, you want to be musical. You want to understand that, yes, again, the definition of a percussion instrument is something that needs to be struck in order to produce a tone, but we're playing it in a sense of how we're approaching the instrument, not like I'm going to put my hand through the instrument, okay? So always keep that in mind. You want to play with the proper technique. Now again, here what I'm doing is I'm kind of keeping a stiff wrist a little bit, so I'm kind of using my arm, and that's how I'm getting, so that's pretty loud. I don't have to play really much louder. I mean, I can play a little bit louder. Okay, but that's how you were going to play loud. Again, kind of straight arm, coming down on the instrument. Okay, now if you needed to go even louder, what you could do is, if you notice, I'm keeping the tambourine flat and I'm not moving it. I'm bringing my hand down. You bring the instrument down and kind of come up to it. Okay, but again, you want to hold the instrument up so both you and the conductor in the audience can see and hear the instrument. Now, if you have to play something loud and rhythmic, okay, one of the things you can do is put your leg on a chair, and then take the tambourine and flip it over, and then put your hand here and go. You have to play something like that. That's really nice and loud. That's the easiest way, instead of going. It's a little bit easier like that. Now, you may or may not experience that in your music at the beginning level. Now, when you have to play something softer, generally, you're going to play, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you're going to take the instrument, it's going to be on a 45-degree angle, and you're going to take your fingertips, and you're going to play towards the edge of the instrument, okay? Okay, so even if you have, like, let's say you're playing a piece of music and you got to play quarter notes on 2 and 4, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you notice, the jingles really don't rattle for a long period of time, which is good. Okay, so you don't really have to play it and then like try to dampen the instrument. Okay. Now, when you have to play, as I mentioned, fast, you might play like this. When you have to play softer, if you have to play something rhythmic, you can actually put the instrument like this, kind of on my leg and resting on my stomach, and then kind of balance it with your wrists, and then play, and then just playing with my fingertips. Okay. Now, here's the really cool thing about tambourine. Okay. Well, actually, let me mention this first. When you're playing, and let's say you play a note and then you finish and then you got to put the instrument down. What you can do one of two things. You can either hit the instrument and go and flip it over and then place it down, or what you can do is just hit the note. And then, again, if you notice, I still have my trusty stand here with the towel, and then I just place the tambourine down. So one of the things to keep in mind, and this goes for snare drum, anything, any percussion instrument. If you're out and you're not playing, and then you have to come up and pick up the instrument and play, the idea is you don't want to really attract attention to yourself. So you don't want to come up and say, oh, I have to play tambourine, and then pick it up and be like, okay, I'm ready, in the middle of a piece. That's very distracting. So the idea is it rests on the stand on a towel so it doesn't make any noise. And then I make sure that I have the opening in the place where I have to grip the tambourine facing towards me, so that way I'm not having to reach around and accidentally hit the instrument and make noise. Now, what I might also do is, if you notice, what I've done is I've also kind of placed the instrument kind of off the edge of the stand, okay? So that way I can put my fingers under there and grab the instrument, okay? Now, rolls. When you have to play a roll, sometimes what you can normally do is just shake it and get this. Okay? That's for like a loud roll. If you have something along those nature, just hit it. And you're just doing this with your hand, back and forth. Okay? Now, let's say you have a roll that starts loud and then gets soft and then comes up like a forte piano. You can go. Now, that is one of the tricks you can use in terms of most conductors, even if you're playing really, really strong, if you play the instrument down here, down here, they're going to go, I can't hear the tambourine. And you can do this and play the same volume, and they'll go, great. But because it's not visibly seen, they're going to think it's not loud. Now, like I said, the cool thing is you can play it, even let's just say it starts soft and then gets louder, a roll. You can start here, bring it up. Now, hopefully if you notice, watch the speed of my hands. I'm not getting faster and more frantic. I'm just bringing the instrument up, and it gets louder, okay? Now, one of the other techniques, which you might not have to employ as a beginning band student or elementary or middle school band student, is a thumb roll, or sometimes I'll use my thumb, sometimes I'll use my middle finger, and then what I do is I get my finger wet and I go like that. So you're getting a roll on the instrument. I apologize, I need some beeswax. Generally, you can put beeswax on it, and what it does is it makes it a little bit more coarse, so that way when you're going across, it kind of has those ridges, and it makes it a little bit easier to play tambourine, those rolls. So again, you're gripping the instrument right here where the opening is. You're putting the four fingers on the inside. The thumb rests on top. You're holding the instrument up, generally on a 45-degree angle. You can either play general patterns with the pointer fingers or with the fingertips. If you have to play a large strike with the closed palm, okay. Again, a small or soft roll crescendoing. Start down here and then bring it up. And then if you have to play anything rhythmic, okay, and that's some tambourine technique for you.